Wyatt just provided some more clues to what's been going on with him, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out the latest for the Bloodline and more. Let's start things off with the latest update for Bray Wyatt. Bray's segment for this edition of SmackDown was a backstage promo. Bray talks about how everyone has manners nowadays, and how everyone is spoiled with technology. But Bray reminds everyone that people used to be wild animals long ago. He mentioned how animals eat other animals in current day, but how nobody looks at that as an act of violence when they do it. Everyone just accepts it as animals trying to survive. Bray says that everyone has primal instincts in their head, but how nobody wants to talk about it because no one wants to be a freak. Everyone wants to fit in and carry on, but how these thoughts are still there for everyone. Bray goes on to say that he's not the one that hurt LA Knight, but how he heard everything he said and called it primal. Bray says that if he had been the one to attack LA Knight, we would all know, because there'll be nothing left. So it wasn't a physical segment by any means, but it was another amazing promo by Bray Wyatt with some actual great points. Everyone has always looked at Bray Wyatt as obviously being a freak, just being this outcast that's different from society. But Bray explained it perfectly here with this promo. Bray says that everyone has his exact same thoughts. Everyone has those primal instincts. It's human nature. But the majority of humans are going to cover up those instincts and thoughts just to fit in, like Bray said. What makes Bray different is that he hasn't tried to cover up his thoughts and instincts over the years. He just went through with all of his primal instincts without even giving it a second thought. So it was a nice touch for the character to slightly call everyone out who judges him. His argument is that we all think this certain way, but how you're scared to show it, which is true. The argument makes sense. And the crowd reaction over the last few weeks basically proves Bray's point as well. The fans don't want to see him in the ring talking about creating peace with everyone. They want to see him creating chaos and madness again. So it's sort of in the same field that Bray was talking about, especially with WWE fans. They're here to see violence, fighting, conflict. They want to see all that stuff that basically relates back to the primal instincts that Bray Wyatt is talking about. So Bray's overall message there was that everyone is more similar to him than they really think. But Bray goes back to the LA Knight attack and once again reinforces his claim that it wasn't him behind the attack. Uncle Howdy has called him out for lying several times over that claim. So it really puts the viewer right there in the middle, and you gotta decide who you're trusting here. Do you trust Uncle Howdy's word that Bray is lying and that he really was the one that's behind the attacks? Or do we believe Bray Wyatt, who promised he had nothing to do with it? Bray even hinted at the idea that the attack would have been much worse if it was actually him that did it. So obviously, it's hard to trust any of these unreliable characters, but Bray did have a good point. Bray said that if he would have done the attack, he basically would have unleashed everything he's been holding in on LA Knight. So it really looks like Bray is referring to those backstage attacks as mild compared to what he would have done. Bray's comments basically leave us with no other option but to believe that Uncle Howdy himself is responsible for the attacks. So was that also Bray Wyatt taking a subliminal shot at Uncle Howdy by basically calling his attacks weak? That's another possibility. Sure, LA Knight is Bray's main opponent right now, but Bray is also fighting off Howdy at the same time. So Bray's last line of this backstage promo seemed to be a fair balanced jab at both LA Knight and Uncle Howdy. He told LA Knight that he would have attacked him in a more extreme way, and he also called Uncle Howdy's attacks weak all at the same time. Or maybe this goes another route and it does turn out to be Bray Wyatt with the mask on who did the attack. And Bray even hinted at this idea at Crown Jewel. He said whenever he has a mask on, he does whatever he wants without worrying about consequences. So was Bray Wyatt behind the new mask when the attack on LA Knight took place? Well, as of right now, it's definitely a possibility. Maybe the answer will become more clear as the weeks go on. But as of right now, it's extremely difficult to know who to trust here. And this, of course, isn't the only story that Bray Wyatt has going on. WWE has made it clear in recent weeks that Alexa Bliss is beginning to relapse and enter her Bray Wyatt persona. So that's another side of the story that should impact Bray's overall story in the very near future as well. Roman Reigns wasn't a part of this week's SmackDown, but the Usos kept pushing the story forward in a major way. The Usos were seen backstage in the hallway with a suspicious conversation that's making the plot thicken even more. Jimmy once again questions Jey about his stance of being okay with Sami Zayn being in the Bloodline. Jimmy asks Jey if he's really okay with it, and also questions Jey if he had the chance to speak to Sami about how he lied straight to his face. Jey hesitated for a brief second, but said that Roman was fine with it, and they got the win at War Games, and he really tried to get Jimmy off the topic right away. The two of them would get attacked moments later by Sheamus. Sheamus said that if the Usos make it through Raw, Drew McIntyre and himself will be waiting for them on the other side. So there's the potential Royal Rumble opponents for the Usos right there. If the Usos have to go up and defend their tag team titles against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, you can argue that it's going to be most likely their biggest challenge yet. You're talking about two former WWE champions, two future Hall of Fame members, both teaming up to try to take down the Usos. That's definitely a scary matchup for the Usos, but of course, with all the rumors of the Usos taking on Sami and Kevin at WrestleMania, the Usos should exit the feud with Sheamus and McIntyre with their titles still intact. But the little subtle part that set fans off was that little moment of hesitation by Jey. Is Jey now hiding something and taking a whole new approach to the entire situation? Everyone has moved their suspicions over to Solo Sikoa, who has been acting more and more isolated in recent weeks. But what if Jey is still up to something? He's just disguising it under this entire happy and accepting act. What if it's even a collaborative effort between both Solo Sikoa and Jey Usos? What if they're both working on this second plan behind Roman's back? Maybe they'll start trying to secretly frame Sami Zayn. Everyone would probably think it's Solo Sikoa, when in reality, it's Jey. Things are definitely getting really interesting here. You have Solo acting strange, and now Jey Uso maybe a little too happy. So it's all little things to keep your eyes on because it may lead to bigger things down the road. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.